Don't get blinded by the light from fame. We're all ordinary people at the end of the day. We make decisions, some good, some bad, but we all pushing for things we never had.
Ordinary people with extraordinary ways.
Yeah.
Everyday people trying to make a way.
It's just
Ordinary people with extraordinary ways.
Yeah.
Trying to make a difference step by step each day.
Welcome to IJU Ghana Life. I'm your favorite host, Paul Semeh, on location at the Street Children Empowerment Foundation in Accra, Ghana. On today's show, I'm really going to be discussing something very, very interesting. It's a subject that we should all be concerned about. We're talking about mental health, the life of a very inspiring musician, creative artist person, Donnita Hathaway, and his daughter, Donnita. So, Donnita, welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, great. And as you may be aware, IJU Ghana Live is broadcasted on Caribbean Voice Radio in the States, and it's also broadcasted live on YouTube for all our viewers to watch. So people in Ghana and all over the world will be watching the show, and we are, on behalf of all the guests, we say welcome and thank you for sharing your very, very close life with all of us.
Oh, my pleasure. It's a privilege to be here, so thank you for having me.
Great. You are a notable person who spends a significant portion of your life to raise awareness about mental health and suicide. What inspired you to get started with Donnita Hathaway Legacy Projects?
There are a few reasons. One is the obvious loss of my father, which for me happened at the age of 2. So to live my entire life without him was definitely the premier motivation, especially since he was so gifted and, just so talented at what he did. It was a pain that not only that my family misses, but the world misses his voice. And so, my father was definitely an inspiration, but it really didn't occur to me until I went through my own mental health struggles and also other members of my family, seeing them go through various traumas in their life and how it affected them. And then just kind of putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Like if you're not a paranoid schizophrenic, which my father was, there may be other types of anxiety or depression that we all naturally go through in some capacity, some way, shape, or form, because we're human, right?
Yeah.
And so it was when those pieces kind of came together for me, I felt that I had enough information, enough of my own story to kind of tie into the rest of my family's story, to be able to share and hopefully help someone who's also going through the same situation and hopefully save a life.
Wow, great and inspiring project. Can you share some of the objectives of this legacy project with us and our viewers?
Yes, the first thing is to be able to break the stigma. It's kind of hard to address something that people don't want to talk about or dig into.
Yeah.
So the first thing is to break the stigma. Like, hey, we're all human, just as there are highs, there are lows.
Yes.
It's really that simple. Like the stigmas that we've had, in particularly with Black people, and I'm sure this is worldwide, that Black people don't kill themselves or they don't have mental health issues when we're probably number one on the scale of a group of, as far as a race of people who have traumatic experiences. Like for one, if you're Black.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, So the number one thing, first off, in order to tackle the subject, you have to be able to address it and be open enough to receive the information. So that's number one, breaking the stigma.
Yeah.
2, I have a special place in my heart because I feel that a lot of these practices that we need needs to start when we're kids.
Yeah.
As adults, you get in your grooves and your situations and your habits, and it's hard to break. And we have an epidemic of young Black kids who are killing themselves.
Yeah.
And it's not talked about unless you're that family. Like it's detrimental that we're not talking about the issues that our kids are currently facing.
Yeah.
And so I definitely have an initiative for kids to
Yeah.
be able to acknowledge whatever pain or trauma that they're going through. And
Yeah.
how many of us have had pain and trauma as we were kids?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so to be able to hear them, to be
Yeah.
able to provide tools for them, which are the same as adults, but just a special focus
Yeah.
on, you know, our young, gifted, and Black, you know, children that we cherish.
Yeah.
And you know, hopefully it's something that will resonate within the family, and it's a practice that a whole family can do. And I want that to broaden to a community, like us as you know, beautiful Black people. That's, as a community, this is something that we can also adhere to. So those are the main objectives, and also to approach this in a holistic way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
there are daily practices that you can do that will help you have the best quality of life possible, and help you deal with when life happens. And so those are the main focuses for the Legacy Project.
Yeah, I have to say that, like you said, among us Blacks, and also in Ghana, a lot of people, and on the continent, a lot of people would feel insulted if they were, for example, told to go and see the psychiatrist or go and see the psychologist, and to know that you've taken this as a whole project to get the stigma off, and to start this from college. You should have, I mean, apart from your late dad, you have mentioned that yourself, but what else do you want to reach inside of you that is giving the strength? Because this is not an easy area that people can understand and would want to identify with.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly the reason. My entire life, I've always been one who looked after other people. Like, my job has been as an assistant. I always would help other people. Even when I was a kid, we would get the playground messy, and then I would go and take my mother's broom from her house and sweep up the sand and rocks and put it back in the sand pit, which I know, I'm surprised. I'm pretty sure I got in trouble a few times for that. Yeah. But it's always been my heart and my nature to look after other people. You know, it could be a feminine trait, but I think it's actually a gift for me, in that I've been able to, and have been blessed to be able to seek, in particular, pain with other people, and want to ease that pain, right? Mm-hmm. And then eventually life showed me I had to do that for myself. Wow. Like, hey, you, you're actually going through it too. You've gone through some stuff. So you might want to take care of yourself before you can take care of other people. Yeah. And so right now I'm kind of in the mix. I'm trying to balance the two. Yeah. Like, make sure that my own life and heart and mind are at peace. Yeah. And then to be able to help facilitate the same for other people, for a community of people. And so, you know, it means a lot for me. I think it's my calling. Yeah. And what better way to honor my both of my parents in this way than to not let his life be in vain. Yeah. And that we can learn those lessons as much as possible to, again, help prevent this from happening to someone else in a such a tragic manner.
So first on this show, you heard it from Donnita Hathaway. You want to help other people, but how are you helping yourself? Because, like, if you think about what she just said, you want to be on this show, you want to be that musician, but if you don't have that mental capability, you essentially will not be regarded or counted as somebody doing anything significant. So we need to protect us. We need to have that mental fortitude. So first on this show, make sure you are up there all right and strong. Take care of yourself mentally. It's not just about the nice clothes and how you look, but it's also mentally. Thank you for that.
It don't matter if you're not sane. It does not matter.
It doesn't matter. Thank you.
You can have all of the talent, you can have all of the money, you can have all of the external things.
Yeah.
My dad had all of the external things. He was a genius.
Wow.
Like my father changed the way singers sang. He
Yeah.
was gifted. He was able to tap into someone's soul with
Yeah.
his voice. And it was a beautiful thing.
Wow.
But at the end of the day, he had several things going on in his life. And on top of that, he had a chemically imbalanced brain,
Wow.
which he was fine as a kid. He was
Yeah.
fine as a young adult, but slowly especially getting into the entertainment business, which we
Yeah.
all know is trash.
Yeah.
I don't know another way to put it, but there's no concern for, your feelings and your heart and your mind and your money and, your talent for that, it's exploited. And so when you have creative people like that, who are already vulnerable, like they are opening up their souls, which is why we love soul music so much. It taps into something. It opens the door for other things, and those vultures kind of come in.
Wow.
And this father, who actually have right above me, if I can get my finger right, the man above my father here.
Yes.
Yes. That is my grandfather. That's Donny's father. He was shell-shocked in World War II.
Wow.
And so that was passed down.
Wow.
So on top of what life will already throw at you, to have like a chemical imbalance for that severity is, you don't want to play with it. So again, you can have all of the money and talent and clothes and what have you. If you haven't healed a broken heart or something traumatic that may have happened to you, one, it's bound to repeat itself and bound to be stronger when it comes back around.
Wow.
So, like, for example, let's say you have a childhood trauma.
Yeah.
It can be anything from you were abused to your parents divorced and you feel that it was your fault, even though it may not have been. But one, a child's brain isn't even fully developed, but the feelings that a kid can have, right? Going into adulthood, if you haven't healed that, you may go through something in college. It could be a car accident. It can be not living your dream. It could be not doing what you feel it is meant for you to do in life. Maybe you're satisfying a family legacy that isn't quite you. It could be a variety of things. It could be an illness. It could be an economic status. You can be Black. There's so many things. It's bound to, again, repeat itself through life. You have to, it's almost like a weight that is compounded. It doesn't take much for anyone to break. Right? How much pain do you have to go through before eventually the dam breaks? Right? So, for example, you could have had all of those things this year, and then COVID hit. And it could shut down everything that you've worked so hard for. Like, how do you deal with that? Not only mentally, but like trying to recover. It's a lot.
So, now that you have built this very broader understanding for myself and my listeners and viewers to see, would you mind helping our listeners bring themselves intercepting what COVID and 2020 have brought to us? Obviously, a lot of us are struggling. A lot of us are going through traumatic conditions. We've lost our loved ones. We've lost our livelihood. We have lost our normal lives. We are locked up in our rooms. We can't do what we love to do. How is that going to play in the next in week coming back? What are the obvious steps we should be taking in dealing with these things so that we do not complicate our lives and actually have a good, stable self to begin life again or continue with life?
Yes, I'm still trying to figure that out myself, but what I do know that's worked for me is a lot of the holistic practices that I adhere to as much as I can every day.
Yeah.
So the first thing is to get a sense of, well, one, this is an airborne virus that none of us can control. So one is to take all of the safety precautions that you can. Wear a mask, stay 6 feet apart, you know, wash your hands. There's that. I know for me, even in my family, on my father's side of the family, I lost a cousin who was about 32 to COVID.
Oh, I said to my
Yes, I know I have 2 people in my family that have had it.
Wow.
I've had people in my work life who have had it. And so even with them, there was, which is another thing that we haven't talked about. There's those of us who are concerned about the virus, and then there's those of us who have actually gone through it.
Yeah.
And even the stigmas of that, like, oh my God, you've had it. Like there's you know, people are scared.
Yeah. The stigma.
You know, and so how does that feel for that person? They can't help. If anything, because they're alone and you can't be with them, they need as much support as possible.
Yeah.
So for one, I try myself, just within myself, to be as centered as possible. So when I start my morning, is to sit still and meditate.
Wow.
There's an app that I'm pretty sure is worldwide that I use called Headspace.
Okay.
There's also other guided meditations that you should be able to find on YouTube, which I use an awful lot, like just free holistic tools. And I listen with headphones to be able to receive that frequency and just sit still and calm, you know, my mind and my heart before I start the day. So that's one. 2, I actually have it here because I'm just waking up in the US.
Wow.
Is water.
Okay.
I don't think people realize, because there's you should drink water when it's hot so that you're not dehydrated. But the brain is made up primarily of water. I think it's like 70+% made of water.
Okay.
It only takes 2% of dehydration for it to affect your cognitive health.
Wow.
Water. Drink water, if nothing more than to help your brain be, you know, as productive as possible.
Wow.
Water. I use a few other things like music. I have a spiritual grounding that I like to conduct every day. And eat. Diet is also extremely important. A lot of people who have mental health issues also have nutritional deficiencies. So to eat as clean as you can is pivotal, as much as you can. And then after that, I have a support system. So there's nothing worse than feeling alone. And I think that's the underlying current of this whole conversation. Like there's nothing worse than feeling alone. And so I reach out to my people.
Yeah.
In fact, I have an initiative that I would love to talk about for this holiday season called Friends Christmas, which is a play on this year's the 50th anniversary of This Christmas, which is amazing that song is 50 years old.
Wow.
But it's so beloved. But the holiday season, just to kind of tie it in, can be a dark time for people anyway.
Yeah.
So throw in COVID when you may not be able to see your loved ones, even Thanksgiving, which is happening for us tomorrow in the US. It can be a lonely heart you know, anyone who's been there can relate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so unfortunately, there's not a magic pill. There's not like a little
veil that you can
not even a veil, but like, you know, on the news they have the text that goes across the screen that lets somebody know that, hey, I'm actually feeling alone and I could use some support. And,
Yeah,
you
there's
know,
no inscription on our forehead.
have you, you know, for some people that's Twitter.
Yeah.
But it usually comes off in a way that can be a little harsh, right? You know, so there's no magic way for people to know that you're going through it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, I can share that this weekend I went through a very massive depressive state.
Wow.
Me personally.
Tell
Friday.
me. Tell us about it.
Right. So all of this will tie in. So grab some popcorn. You know, enjoy the story. Last Friday would have been my mother's 80th birthday.
Okay.
And she's been gone almost half of my life at this point.
Wow.
And I don't know what it was because I knew the day was coming.
Yeah.
But when I woke up that morning, I felt empty. I felt alone. I felt sad that she wasn't here. And then when I realized it was 80, you know, that's a grand celebration.
Yeah.
Of all of my years of her being gone, and it could be for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
I grieved her and mourned her in a way that I haven't had the entire time that since she's passed, which is in 1998. I cried for 3 days.
Wow.
Heavily.
Wow.
I missed and wanted and felt that my mother should be here.
Yeah.
Right. Now I already don't have my father. There's my mother as well. So but as much as I was in this sad place, no one knew until I told them.
Wow.
You know, and so while I'm going through it, I also have to have enough will to be able to throw out a life raft for myself. Yeah. To say, hey, can somebody help me? Because I'm not okay right now. Yeah. Right. There's actually a beautiful app by these 2 young kids called Not Okay. Oh, and for some reason, because it's hard for us to be able to say that, there's a sense of pride that we have, like everything is just supposed to be okay, like you're a robot. That's just not possible. It's not possible. And so, you know, some people vent on social media, and sometimes you wonder why they would do it, like share so much on social media. I think it's because there is, it's easier to let it out to the world than it is to do to your brother, sister, mother, father, like your friends. Yeah. And so there's an app called Not Okay. Oh, okay. And if 2 people, at least, you know, you have your support system. Yeah. When you're not feeling okay, all you have to do is press the button, and there's a text message that goes to your crew that says, hey, I'm having a hard time. Can you check on me?
You see, it's quite interesting that we are having this conversation today, because there is a Ghanaian comedian that is trending as we speak, because for the past weeks, he's been on YouTube and he's been sharing a lot about his marriage and his depression and a lot of things, very, very detailed information that a lot of people have taken to the internet to criticize him and say, why are you sharing this much about your marriages that have not worked and all of that? Then he actually has come out to say that, hey, if I'm going through depression, I'm allowed to say, free my mind. I'm saying all of this so I can come out of my state. And I have seen a number of celebrities visit. So with the app, I'm Not Okay. I think if you're in Ghana and you're watching, what this conversation is telling you is, we are not robots. You heard it from this show. We are not robots. We go through situations. And if you feel you have to let it out to the world, don't be shy. Just say, we are better off having you tell your story and be with us than not tell your story and be gone. So
this is it here.
Okay. Welcome to I'm Not Okay. Hey, oh, everybody in Ghana, please download this, and everybody watching also in the States, download this. This is not, they have not paid us on the show to promote this app, but for your own mental fortitude and your own mental health, we will recommend digital things at this stage in COVID, where all of us are going through one thing or another, so we can all together share. I know there may be a young lady watching who may not, or a young man who may be going through some marital problems or relationship problems, and they are feeling, they are like, oh, these guys are mentioning things around, but would you look in the camera and speak to somebody who feels, maybe I want to end it, I am tired in life, this is too much, everything I do, I fail, I'm not good, I'm such a horrible person. Would you tell that person something in the eyes so they can feel themselves again, and feel that life?
Yes. The first thing I would say is that I understand. I think we all get to a point where we feel just so horrible about the way things have transpired or the way life has gone, that you feel that the best option is to end it all, which would be, if it wasn't so permanent, you know, it's definitely understandable. The one thing that I would say is, a lot of times for everyone that I've known who have gone through the situation, they don't necessarily want to end their life. They just want the pain to stop. And so, one, I would just say there are options to help heal the pain that's in your mind and heart that you're going through.
Yeah.
And that there is a support system out there that can help with it. And so I would just say, one, you are loved and appreciated, and we love you. And anything that I know that I can do, that I'm pretty sure your loved ones can do to help end the pain. And sometimes maybe it's not your loved ones, which is why therapy is a beautiful thing. Sometimes you just need a support system to help you when the pieces are crumbling. To even just hold you. To let you know that everything will be all right. And so there is a song that my father performed called "Someday We'll All Be Free."
Wow.
And the one question that people raise often is, when is someday?
Okay.
Like, I can't look on the calendar and go, oh, okay, it's November 27th. That must be the someday.
Yeah.
The one thing that you have to decide is that your someday is going to be today. Your someday can be right now.
Yeah.
It will take a lot of work to get to the other side, but there is another side. And you can still be here and be able to have a quality of life that is, you know, beautiful and grand. And it will be a story that you can help share with other people to help them get out of the situation. But please know that your life is worth having, and that pain can be healed. And with the right support, you can get to the other side.
Thank you so much. And I know, I mean, that a lot of people around me, including, and I say, IJU Ghana Live is a healing show. We're not just here to just talk and make views and get people to listen, but we are here to heal ourselves and our families and our friends. So do not keep this conversation to yourself. Share it with everybody. And particularly, that's why we make it on YouTube as well. Every broadcast on YouTube will always be there, so you can listen it over and over and over again and get yourself out. You are not in this alone. But Donnita, I think people will say, oh, she's a privileged lady. She had the golden spoon in her mouth. That's why she's telling us to hang on and it will be okay. Tell my viewers, my listeners, some of your struggles, so they know it's just us.
Me privilege? Ugh. I have several things. One, I have, again, the loss of both of my parents, which is why my mom passed when I was 19. My dad passed when I was 2.
Wow.
So I've lived my entire adult life without my parents. There are some who may have lost their parents younger than me.
Yeah.
Life is hard to navigate when you don't have that, your parents around.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are a lot of things I had to figure out on my own. All of this I've had to figure out on my own.
Wow.
It's been a very painful process. I've gone from one thing that was just knocked me off of my feet was when my mom passed, I went straight to work.
Wow.
Like I didn't mourn her passing. I just worked. And I was productive. I was employee of the year, the first job that I had after my mom passed. I worked really hard, but I was ignoring the fact that my heart was broken. And I like to use that analogy. So the model for the Legacy Project is getting to the heart of mental health, right?
Wow.
And so when my mom passed, I said, I am never going to feel that level of hurt again, right?
Wow.
And so I worked and worked and worked and worked and worked. And then I looked up and maybe 10 years had passed.
Yeah.
And I wondered why I was single. I wondered why I didn't have relationships.
Yeah.
I started to feel alone.
Yeah.
And it didn't occur to me for maybe 15 years after my mom passed,
Wow.
that when she passed, I said I didn't want to feel that level of hurt again. And I built a titanium wall that no one could get through. Because you're not gonna do that to me again. Nope. And the thing is, I also blocked out a blessing.
Wow.
Because I was so guarded and so hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't have relationships if you're not able to open yourself up and be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Let's take that word, vulnerable. Ooh,
vulnerable. Yep.
It brings me, God, again, it brings me to my knees. Like, oh, you have to be vulnerable for these things. Oh,
yeah.
And it's actually something I'm 44 now. I still struggle with.
Yeah.
I still struggle with. And so what ended up happening is life ended up showing me in a very painful way what happens when I don't take care of myself, right?
Wow.
And so I ended up having a back injury that was, I had a slip disc, which was very painful. Wow. And I didn't realize how much pain I was in because, of course, my autopilot is to keep on working.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep on.
Ignore
and so for 10 years.
Ignore
yes.
That.
So nothing will get you more than emotional and spiritual pain than physical pain.
Wow.
Like, oh, you don't get this, or you didn't get lesson 1 or 2. Okay, let's try lesson 3. All right. So we're gonna go and we're gonna take this and we're gonna. And so physical pain has been the thing that woke me up. But even then, it took a minute. And so 2 years ago, I was sitting at a red light in LA. I moved to LA.
Yeah.
And I got hit from behind by a U-Haul truck.
Oh.
And I was at a red light.
Wow.
And so I'm still, and the truck comes, pop. The car, minimal damage. My back that was already injured 10 years ago, I still struggle with to this day.
Wow.
And even then, it took me probably going a year into being like having spasms and not being able to bend. I couldn't sit, I couldn't stand, I couldn't lay, I couldn't do anything. When I coughed, worst pain in my life. It went straight to my sacrum. Worst pain in my life, right? It wasn't until I realized that I might live the rest of my life this way. that it was a wake-up call.
Wow.
And so, you know, people aren't immune again to life and its challenges. So whatever amount of privilege that you think one has, you would be surprised how devastating it can be. You know, the story is different. Like, there's a beautiful show that depicts this very well called David Makes Man. I think it's David. It's on Oprah's network here in the States.
Yeah.
And so you have this young kid who is, his father, I believe, was killed.
Yeah.
He has a single mother doing the best that she can, and he's a scholar student.
Yeah.
But he has to walk to school. On his way to school, he gets these drug dealers or whatever. They want him to sell stuff. Like, he goes through like those levels of bullying and trauma.
Yeah.
But then there was another kid who was privileged, had a nice house, you know, the latest clothes, all of that. But his father was abusive. Okay. So you can't, it's like apples and oranges. You really
can.
You know, everyone has their something.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, there's a common ground that people can relate to. And that is, again, pain, trauma, heartbreak, which is where we all can connect. I feel it's pivotal. Because I think a lot of us have this family thing that you don't tell family business.
Yeah.
We need to share our stories.
Mm-hmm.
Because my story, there might be someone who can say, you know what, I know exactly what she's talking about, and be able to get something from it. Yeah. But we can't get there if we're not talking.
Yeah, sure.
Which is part of Friends Christmas. You need to be able to express yourself and say, hey, I'm going to be alone this year. I could use something, somebody help.
Yeah.
And there's so many opportunities that we have to help heal each other.
Yeah.
But you can't do it if you're silent. So, we have to be open enough and vulnerable. Vulnerable. I know.
I am sure all my listeners have had a number of years added to their life just by listening to you, because some of the things you have said, even I have been healed in different ways. Things I had not felt, I have not reached to. I'm reaching to. This Christmas season, you're running this campaign. Share with us the details of this campaign. A lot of us may want to join, our listeners may want to join this campaign. Is there a hashtag? What can we do to be a part of this campaign? So together we can make mental health awareness through this COVID Christmas season.
Yes. So thank you so much for asking. The hashtag that we're going to use this year is Friends Christmas. It is inspired by one is a play on words, but it was inspired by Friendsgiving and the fact that friends would gather for the Thanksgiving holiday. And I thought, because I know Christmas in particular hasn't been the same for me since my mom passed.
Yeah.
And so a lot of us kind of just go through the motions. But in particular this year, even though I had this idea actually a few years ago, the lyrics of the song, which were written by Nadine McKinnon, who I love. Hello, Nadine. The lyrics in the song say, "This Christmas will be a very special Christmas for me." Wow. And the question that I want to pose to people is, how can we make this Christmas be a very special Christmas for everyone?
Wow.
And so think about those people who earlier in the year may have gone through something traumatic.
Yeah.
It could have been a natural disaster. Maybe they lost a home, job, a loved one. Maybe they've lost a parent or a child, like someone dear to them.
Yeah.
And it could be this year, it could be someone has lost someone and they haven't been the same since, right? Maybe they're a little too quiet around the holidays while everyone is caroling through the night and hustling and bustling. Oh my God, it's Christmas. And there's usually someone who's painfully quiet.
Yeah.
You want to check on those people. Like for some people, this year will be the first year without a grandparent, without a parent, maybe a child, a cousin, brother, sister. Those people, this holiday season is going to be different.
Yeah.
So remember those folks at the beginning of the year, because we do the thoughts and prayers when it happens, and then it goes radio silent.
Yeah.
We need to check back on those people that we had our thoughts and prayers for, and say, hey, I just want to check in and make sure that, you know, you're going to be okay this holiday season. If there's anything I can do, mailing a card, calling, not necessarily texting, even though you can do that.
Yeah.
A human interaction is a lost art.
Yeah.
Especially even before COVID, like if we're real, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I get my happy birthdays on a text message on the phone.
Yeah.
And the amount of people who actually call me are less than 5.
Oh.
And so sometimes, like if this phone is off, then I miss the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you want to just be mindful of those voices that are a little quiet. It's going to require some work.
Yeah.
And if you're in a position to do it safely, maybe invite that person over for Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner or New Year's.
Wow.
If there's a way to do it safely and you're quarantined and you've had your tests and you all feel safe, you know, and do, you know, 6 feet apart, what have you.
Yeah.
But you would be amazed on what a thoughtful heart will do to someone. To go, oh, you know what? I guess I do matter. You know, someone thought enough of, you know, taking the busy time out of their schedule to care for me. That goes a long way.
Wow.
A long way. Remember, I don't know if you guys did Secret Santa. Like they used to be like a corporate office thing. You would just pick some names out of the hat and send a gift.
Yes.
Gifts are great.
Yeah.
But I remember how I feel when someone has opened, you know, just either their homes or hearts to me, and we're able to say, hey, I know, like I have someone who every year she says, if you don't go to Chicago, which is where I'm from, if you don't go home, you can always have the holidays with me.
Yeah.
That means something. It means something. Don't take that for granted. Again, that feeling of togetherness and not feeling alone can save someone's life.
Wow.
And so that's what Friends Christmas is about. And so do this on social media, like encourage your friends to check in on their folks, and let's make this a movement.
Thank you very much. I think if I may, you may say your Christmas message of love to all our followers and IJU Ghana and IJU Internet Productions team. We will play a special show for your Christmas message. And then you share one fun fact about you that our viewers don't know about Donnita.
Ooh. Well, one, I have a dear friend who talked to me about moving to Ghana. And I said, well, okay. He said, are you coming? I said, I hadn't thought about that. Maybe I should look into that.
Yeah,
like
look into that.
What's going on here? Let me
so
I got my passport. I've never been to Ghana.
Are you moving?
I would love to come. I would love to come. So one, I want to send that prayer. Get me to Ghana. First thing, I would love to come.
We will accept with a big hug.
Yes. Let me go be with my people.
Yep.
Let's see. So one, you know, for the beautiful people of Ghana, I hope to see you soon.
Yes.
I hope to see that's so American.
We would love to have you. We would love to have you and give you all the hugs and all the
yes.
Ghana hospitality.
Yes. Something that people don't know about me. One is I'm a little silly, but I think most people know that. One thing people don't know about me. I'm left-handed. And so is my dad.
Oh.
We're both lefties.
Oh.
So maybe that's why that's maybe why my brain and the way that I operate is a little different. I'm left-handed.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. It's been an honor having you on my show, and on the show, I'm on behalf of all the listeners of IJU Ghana Live, I want to say a great thank you for your time and for sharing this moment with us. We definitely would love to have you back on the show, maybe a little bit of entertainment, but maybe a virtual.
Oh, okay, I got one.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know that I do not sing.
Oh, yeah, that's like.
I am the non-singing Hathaway. He got it. Greatest singer of all time. I'm not messing that up. Not me. Nope.
That is great. So we this is fun. Now I believe that you are silly.
Oh, absolutely.
Having me on the show. Thank you very much. It's been an honor having you, and thank you very much, viewers. Please remember to subscribe to our button, share this with your friends. And remember, every Wednesday, this is on Caribbean Voice Radio, and it's rebroadcasted. It's on Fridays and rebroadcasted on Wednesdays. Thank you very much for being on the show. You've been the guests that have cracked me up in my mental health. I've got healing and peace.